Hello everyone, Connor here. Just as a small disclaimer, some things we may talk about on the pod shouldn't be attempted or recreated. Remember to keep everything legal, keep it between the hedges, and don't tear up the ground while you're on the pull. What's crack, folks? Welcome to Limited Slip Differences, the best or worst, but definitely the only agri-automotive podcast
that we know of,
where we yarn all things cows to cars. I'm Connor.
I am Michael, and we are on episode 24, and it is coming out on Christmas Eve when you're listening to this, if you're listening to it on the day that it comes out.
And in the tap water budget, that's our Christmas present to you.
So, happy Christmas. I'm not actually that festive, but anyway, I decided to wear my Christmas jumper today.
I don't actually own one, to be honest, sir.
Well, funny, I was going to message you, and then I forgot. And then I'd actually bought Lidl.
Have you had a case of the Dory that I always get?
Yeah, well, that's always me. But I also had
I'm constantly trying to find myself. Never mind.
I've lost myself a long time ago. I actually had two Lidl Santa hats for us.
Were they bought recently?
Yeah, but I left them in Becca's car.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
Yeah. So I was planning on doing this one wearing Santa hats, but it starts to get quite cold, like an hour into us recording. So
well, to be fair, it is quite mild tonight.
It is, but I can guarantee we can see your breath already. I would guarantee you in an hour's time we'll start to shiver.
Probably.
So
well, on the recent TikTok video that went out, which will now be 2 weeks old.
Yes.
Where I talked about Sarah drift cars, unreal. As I do, thanks for myself. Somebody said I look cold. Yeah, I'm always cold.
No, we were cold. That was cold, and towards the end of that podcast,
my hands are under my legs for a slight bit of heat.
I think we were both doing that. I think I actually said that in the last pod to you. I was like, are your hands under your legs too for warmth? And you were like, yep. Because I don't like the idea of wearing gloves either.
It's not even that. I had the hands underneath my legs, and my hands went numb still.
Aye. Well, I'm just glad I'm not wearing a hat this week that makes me look like I'm part of a certain hate group. Because the hat I was wearing last time went up on that big point here. And I was watching it back, and I was just like, it does not look good.
Well,
it does not look good.
There's two things. You took the the PG version of it. You said you look like a Smurf. I said at the time you look like a dickhead.
Either option would have went down well. And after watching it, I was like, Jesus Christ, is that actually how I look? And I said to you, I was like, I've fixed it, and you were like, aye. Wasn't even fucking near fixed. But it's the shape of that hat. Maybe that's why it was so cheap at the time. It didn't cost a lot.
Was it one of those hats, you know the way, years ago you would have got them, but they would have been like your normal woolly hat with no bobble at the top of it. But they would have fell down at the back.
Yeah. Mine just literally went up at his own accord.
Your wee head had a hard on.
I was like someone had put a heap of gel in my hat. But anyway, moving on.
What's crack, lad?
I was about to say what's new with you, but that is almost new to me. I wouldn't say I have a throat infection, but I can't shift this, horsiness and all,
Well, fucking stay clear.
I hear I've had it for weeks now.
Oh, right.
I don't know what it is. So, yeah, if I clear my throat a few times in the pod, you'll know why. What is the crack with me? See, honestly, winter time's normally supposed to be a time for starting to focus on projects and all that there. See, since I've done all the lights in Mary, which took longer than anticipated, but also great job, because now I can actually see when I'm going up the road, and it's a bit safer. I haven't really done anything. I've the Sierra and the P100s both lying behind the camera, which you can't see, and I have parts now sitting there to get things done to them, but I just haven't the time. Work's been insane, and I was planning on doing a bit over Christmas, but I can't even get my holidays at the minute because things are so mental. Yeah. So I'll have to just figure out something with that. So I'll plan on a few different things over Christmas, but mainly I want to do a bit of maintenance around the yard, so I haven't even had a chance to look at that. Oh, actually I did one thing. I rewired the lights in the crush, so now it actually has lights, because trying to do cattle at night time with fuck all light is actually quite hard.
That's the balls.
Aye. Other than that, no, nothing really that new.
Well, we did go to tractor pull.
Well, I was going to wait for you to bring that up with you having a wild pile on the other. So, what about tractor pulling?
Had never been before. We had obviously been to On the Pull with Farmflex, and we had helped out that day, but never actually been to a tractor pulling event.
I think it was a long time since I was ever at an event. It's honestly unreal. That one we were at, so we were invited to a tractor pull by Owen Smith, or Frosty, as most are known by. It was like a wee small day. It just seemed, apparently there's like a group of boys that all just sort of know each other, and they're all mates, so they were all invited to like a random field like outside Limavady, and Frosty's like, just want to come along. Unbelievable, the calibre of tractors that was there, and it was all old school stuff too. It was unreal.
Lots of smoke, lots of noise,
lots of poke,
lots of slipping tyres.
Oh, aye. And then a few things. Well, Killen showed up with, is it the 8470 or what do you call the one?
8740.
8740, and it just pulled the sled like it.
I'd say if he had to put the foot down slightly more, he maybe would have even maybe outdone Big Blue.
Oh, Big Blue was heading for the Glen Shane, like.
the first time, yes.
They were all all the boys in the top class, because there's 8410 as well, and then boys were all trying to see how far they could pull it. So in like the top class, it was unreal.
Well, like the 8410, you seen that do it, and it was obviously mighty impressive. And then the sort of chat was, oh, is Big Blue going to be able to, is probably the John Deere outshiner?
Yeah.
It did not outshine.
No, because I remember talking to Alistair, and he was literally like, getting nervous. We also got chatting to Andrew Morton.
We did?
We were chatting to him for a right while the other day. And obviously getting on with Frosty as well. He invited us. Andrew's
aircon mod is some job in the tractor. Even though, like, it was freezing fog, he was keen to have the aircon on.
He was one cool boy all day. Actually, that's something hinting at in the future, because Frosty was getting on to me about it, and he was saying, about maybe coming on and talking about tractor pulling, which is something I would happily welcome. So maybe the likes of him and Andrew, we can get them on to have a bit of a yarn about it. What was your favourite tractor of the day?
So, to be honest, like, for spectacle and all that, I'd probably say Big Blue.
Yes, Big Blue.
But yes, there was
well-known podcast favourite. Yes,
there was loads of smoke.
Yes.
There was much noise.
Loads of poke.
Yes, but otherwise, Ford 7810.
That 7810 you're thinking of. We've actually done it before as well.
That was the one out going up the pole.
Yes, that's Aaron and Darcy Clark's tractor.
Oh, she's man.
But there's the other one as well. There's PJ McGrath's.
Yes.
7810.
There's not one of them sitting at well over 190.
194 or something. You want to see the video where he's blipping her and she's spitting flames?
I didn't know. I need to see that.
Class.
You need to show me
but
that.
See that tractor of the Clarks. That thing's absolutely unbelievable. It just sits in nice wide wheels. It is unreal. One of my favourites actually was the 180/90. Just because it's a 180/90, I just love it. I just see it and I literally look at it and go, I just want you in my yard. Like
I was wondering where you were going that.
Well, sexual or otherwise, like that thing's fucking class. I would put the horn in a snowman, like.
Or Michael.
Well, 100% full mast here at the minute talking about it, like.
Please don't discuss that in the podcast.
But it was, honestly, that thing was unbelievable. The F-140,
here,
that thing's unreal.
It is, very much so.
It didn't even do pulling, it just literally pushed back and forth all day.
It's doing it well, hey.
It was class. It was a good spectacle to try and get everything cleared up,
Oh, completely.
But
like,
to be honest, there was that many cool items like Andrew's 1255. No, is it?
No, 1455.
It was absolutely unreal.
It was
the 880 two-wheel drive, the big wide wheels in the back.
I didn't see that one.
Remember that? It was class.
No, John knows something. It is a day that you're going to enjoy the old school stuff a lot more, because obviously people have been like putting them out to way more than what they should be.
Yeah.
But obviously, because it's for a small amount of time, they're grand with it.
13mm.
Because like you see then, Killen's 8740. It was like a fucking Dyson coming up there, and it was like a Dyson trailing the woman behind it.
Literally, it was just, there was no. Do you know what? Like, you're looking at it and you're going like, that's some amount of power. Like, and I'm sure if you asked Adam or Lorraine about it, as we will, because #watch this space, like, if you were to ask them about it, they'd probably say the same.
But at the same time, She is, I think, a 13-ton tractor.
Oh, aye.
So she is just pure weight, like
It's just
pure weight, and
massive.
very gearbox. She's fit. I just put the power down.
Well, what would it be? 8740? Would that be close to 400 horsepower?
That'll be more than 400
Seriously?
horse. Bound to be, yeah.
Holy ghost.
Sure, if she's mapped, she could be. I think they're meant to be 410 or 15. So mapped, if it was, at the end of the day, that thing with triple motors on her is not far off.
A big M?
She's be the same as a big M420. Like, they can mow
Holy ghost.
nearly the same speed as a big M420, but then the big M 500, I think probably be another league of its own again.
Anyway, if you go to a tractor pulling event, you get to see all this stuff, so it's pretty cool. Like, what else is new?
And do you want to know another thing I noticed?
Hello.
Both men and women were both enjoying it.
Yes, 100%, absolutely.
And also, it could be a man behind the Dyson vacuum as well.
100%. Nice recovery there, Connor. Nice recovery.
I don't want to be done.
No. Well, and what else is?
And then other else new to me. So the day we're recording on Thursday, the 14th.
Red.
The Royal Ulster Winter Fair was on the day for dairy cattle.
Yeah. Forgot you were at that. Actually.
One big takeaway from it was, now there could have been some done, but it didn't really, because milk price is a wee bit shit at the minute.
Yes.
There was lots of talk, but I don't think there was much bought.
Just a pile of kicking tires.
Aye, I was one of them too.
Aye.
But okay, like for a one-day event, it's a good enough show.
I haven't been to the Winter Fair since I was, I'd say 18.
Well,
so 12 years. It was good. It was aimed obviously more towards the milk farmer, like, and.
Well, you don't get beef cattle at a dairy show, like.
Is it full dairy?
It is full. So I'm near sure that the beef side of things has got the beef and lamb earlier on in the month, or else the tail end of November.
Red.
And then you have the likes of, the dairy fair. No, it's a good day. Like, obviously it's only on for one day up at the Icon. Serious crowd at it, like.
Oh, it would be. It's but during the day, it's when all the farmers would go, like.
Yes. So we arrived probably about I think 10:30, 11:15. Try to get there early. But it's one of those shows, like, unless you know a lot of folk at it, you can get around it and done it in about
really
two and a half hours, and that's still talking once. But, like, everybody jokes with me about this bigger single farm payment and that. Nothing was bought today.
Not go far the year.
No. But according to sources, milk is on the rise. So we will all be fit to pay our bills slightly better.
Okay, yes.
Still nothing will be bought.
Yeah, probably best. Maybe just getting yourselves a bit more comfortable for a while first.
But
you did buy a full milk and parlour.
To be fair, we called in with them and
Dairy Master, I assume.
Yes, we to their stand and discussed with them, and they, in years to come, have said they're working on some things, because they'll probably. A downfall of dairy mart, like if you're really techy and into all that sort of crap.
So you and Andrew right then?
Yeah, I suppose you could say that. Some of their software would still look like it's in Windows XP.
It is quite, yeah.
It's quite old looking.
Their HMIs and all that wouldn't be just as nice looking as maybe.
But
although I wouldn't say GEAs is much better.
Not sure. I've never seen it. But no, they've. Well, like it's like anything as time moves on, like they're working on like a new system to try and integrate everything.
Yeah.
For at the minute, we have obviously a manager for the cows that shows their yield and all that.
Yeah.
And then you have a program whenever you start the parlour.
Yeah.
Which is the second program.
Yeah.
And then you have another program for your heat detection, which is the third program.
Okay.
And I think they're just working to integrate everything.
Aye.
So
it's just like a one button
basically
takes all kind of.
And do you know the way in factories they would have obviously automated robot arms for like putting on panels, spray paint and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I've seen that
in car factories.
Well, I remember seeing that at John Deere.
They have, well, there could be other companies doing it, robo spray. So if you don't want to be dipping your cows, you can buy a robotic arm that'll dip your cows for you. Pro step, that is.
I mean, the thing is, right, at one point I said, why would you get one of them robot slat scrapers? Like, at one point I was like, why would you get, I remember seeing that at the Wonder Fair, like I'm talking like 12 years ago,
yeah.
And I remember seeing that the Lily whatever one it is.
Discovery, yeah.
Discovery, right? And then, like, I think you's got one.
We got one in 2017.
And then Donald bought one in 2019.
Yeah.
And it ended up becoming called Seamus.
Ours is called Rover because back in the day in school you had the wee Rover that you used to push the buttons to go forward 2 steps and all that.
No, this is called Seamus. So we, and like anybody who has one, including yourselves,
yeah,
it was very much of like you would never go back.
Well, it's like this. It used to be that you would have used a hand scraper, sweeper, whatever you want to call it.
Started up the 135 and
no, not even.
That's what we were doing with Donald's.
We had we hand one, and you were doing it before, like obviously whenever you were doing the cubicles, so that's twice a day.
Yeah.
And you were probably spending 15 minutes. Whereas that there is, no, it's like anything. Shit gets round the ultrasound sensors on it, and it gets lost, and there is times whenever you have to go and put it back. But see, whenever it is working at its full thing, the slats are literally never dirty. You can walk down, and
you could go on a pair of nice trainers all day long.
And I suppose it's all to do with like keeping feet problems down, because like dermatitis is through the slurry. But we will not go on. I will not keep yammering on. Bar the winter fair. Well, I'm a bit old. Santa Claus just doesn't come to me anymore. So I took a mad notion.
What do you mean Santa Claus doesn't come to you?
Well, I don't think he does. He hasn't left fuck all below the tree for me this long time.
Santa's still good to me.
Is he?
Aye.
I know, it just must be the ginger hair. Must feel sorry for you.
Santa's still good to me. What are you trying to say here, Connor?
I'm saying that I'm an adult.
So? Anyway.
Fuck you, lad. Fuck you. I don't know what you're trying to get at here, lad, but it ain't fucking working. He's a prick. Just because you had to dress up as Santa Claus.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
Anyway, so I was kind of good to myself lately. Took a mad notion, I suppose. So PSPs back in the day were the pure rod. You'd play games anywhere. But they came out with the PS Vita like in 2011, 2012. Can mind seeing one in game years ago and being like, that is the rod, because it had PS3 graphics in your hand at the time. Always wanted one. They were astronomical price. And then for some mad reason I was like, oh, you know what? I would love to have one. And then eBay's a funny place whenever you're spending some money.
So you ended up with one?
I won one worth the money.
Fair play.
Yeah, came and it was better than I anticipated. So well, am I going to play it? Probably not. But it's nice, and it's nice to have one. Yes, and then it's like anything. You go down a rabbit hole, and not really doing much to the cars this winter. So I have money that I just want to spend.
Be nice to have money.
Oh, not a lot. Not a lot.
Saving fund back to zero.
Yeah, so bought the Vita, got it. Obviously hadn't a game for it, so I bought a cheap game off eBay that was still sealed in the box. Then ended up PSP. Oh, it needed a bigger memory card, so I bought one of them too. Again, I haven't played it yet. And then took a mad notion and bought a PS5.
Right.
So
you are good to yourself.
I am good to myself.
You are good to yourself.
Yes.
Just get a job with the department.
Alright, calm down. You wish you had my stress levels.
Fuck, you're right, I do. You're actually minus stressed.
I am indeed not minus stressed.
Anyway, well,
so this all leads us on nicely to, I was very good to myself, but the main topic is because obviously as you're listening to this tomorrow, there's lots of Waynes out there that's going to wake up to all going well, everything that they wrote in their letter or email or whatever way they get it to the North Pole these days.
Yes.
We thought we would talk about, obviously this is like car and farming related. We talk about, well, basically the video games whenever we were younger.
The games that made us, the games that literally through the years we grew up playing, and because me and Connor are now old as fuck,
We are.
we can go back quite a while.
Yes.
Quite a while.
So,
Do you know what the first racing game you ever played was?
this is really showing my age now. I think it was F1 2000.
F1 2000.
In the PS1.
The
Or in the PlayStation, as they talked about back then.
F1 98 was the first racing game I ever owned, but the first racing game I ever played was actually Need for Speed Road Challenge, which I actually think I talked about in the last podcast.
Was that after, like, you had Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, or was that after?
Before it.
Before it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, we're really going back then.
Yeah. Like
Are you as old as that game?
No, I think that game's 1997.
Oh,
I'm
so that-
1994.
Aye, so you're a wee bit older.
Yeah. But
You were doing well playing that at 3 years of age.
no, like I was maybe I got my PS1 I think when I was 6, so 2000, year 2000.
Wow.
So yeah, it was so it was literally but fella who my mum used to look after, but back in the day he had a PlayStation, so we were up at his house and remember like playing it on his PlayStation. I just remember seeing it, and then whenever I first got the PS1 I actually lent it off him because I enjoyed the game so much. But yeah, F1 98, I actually tried to play it one day and it was like literally rendering as you're driving along.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I literally don't know how we managed to play those games.
You thought they were deadly back in the day.
Oh,
also.
100%.
So it was the next sister to me in the house got a PlayStation from Santa Claus, and it came with, if I can mind right, Tomb Raider.
Yes. Lock the butler in the basement.
I think that was the Tomb Raider 2. Was you were fat to go around the house?
I think it was
Tomb-
maybe Tomb Raider 2
And
actually. Yeah.
you know, like he followed you. He was a creepy bugger back in the day. Yeah, I literally.
Rattling of the
I know it was. Everything was all squares too, you know. Back
squares and triangles.
Yes,
Yeah.
literally.
Squares and triangles. If you know, you know.
Very prominent pointy triangles. Yeah, they could have got fucking glass. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much. They could have got through steel them things.
Fuck. But
Sorry, yes. Then I think I got F1 2000. I was 2001, and to this day, that is the only reason why I know Melbourne like the back of my hand.
well, a game that I actually after that got I got a multi-pack. So back whenever like you thought you were doing really well, back when games came with 2 discs in one game in
No
one
way.
package, it was like, you remember you used to get platinum games that were platinum,
Right?
like the ones that had sold really well, platinum versions. And it was Colin McRae 1
Oh,
and Toka World Touring Cars. And like Toka World Touring Cars and Colin McRae were both unbelievable because they were, well, for instance, Toka World Touring Cars was literally like you were racing Vauxhall Vectras, Peugeot 406, Renault Laguna. It was literally cars that you were seeing day by day.
Yeah.
And at that age you were like, oh my god, this is class, like I'm racing a 406. Colin McRae was rallying and it was just like, this is class. So you're Australia, Indonesia, like Sweden, all them places, and like if you used the cheat codes you were able to get like a Mark II Escort and an Audi Quattro and like stuff like that. It was even back in the day, like those games were so much fun, and like I spent countless hours just driving the Skoda Felicia on Colin McRae's rally school.
oh,
Yeah, it was class. And like even the way they had recorded his voice and all at the time, like this is a game that came out in 1998 or something, and it was still like, it actually, now you know now because he's dead and all, it's kind of like, it's nearly a bit chilling when you hear the voice and all. Like that was a class game.
funny, do you mind in the PS1 days you would have went into like a newsagents back in the day, fuck we are old, or like any sort of random sort of supermarket or local shop,
Yeah.
and you would have got the PlayStation magazines that came with the demo discs.
Yeah, I have a substantial number of them. Yeah.
They were pretty
All I
darn
used
cool.
to do was just play demo discs because it was cheaper than having the games.
Yeah.
You didn't know any better.
Oh, you definitely didn't. I don't think I had any more racing games with PS1 bar that. What about you?
I had a couple of other Tokas and I'm trying to think. Excuse me. Trying to think. did I have any Need for Speeds? I can't remember. There's nothing standing out, but I think that's because I put so many hours into Toka World Touring Cars. PS2 then. Now, I honestly think the PS2, well, maybe you argue different from me, the PS2 was definitely the console that they kind of shaped sort of my life, I guess.
Yes.
Like,
I'm no different.
Oh, you're no different. So PS2, like, what did we got? We had
How did you come on to? Did you have the original Underground?
Yes.
How did you come on to it?
I lent the original Underground off Cathal McGoldrick, I think, and I got it not long before Need for Speed Underground 2 came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I only got my PlayStation. Yeah, I only got my PS2 in like 2003, so I had the PS1 for quite a while. Well, 3 years, which at the time was quite long because by that stage the PS1 was starting to get quite outdated.
Yeah.
And I remember then getting a lend off, I think, off Cathal McGoldrick then before just Need for Speed Underground 2 come out. And I literally remember the ad for Need for Speed Underground 2, and I remember looking at it and going, I need that in my life.
So Need for Speed Underground, it was, so how I got a PS2, interesting me story. So older brother, because the way the house was, we shared a room, and he was obviously at the age where I was like, right, I'd love just TV in the room and all that. So so what happened was, the brother and a cousin of mine that you would know very well,
yes,
it was one Sunday, and he was like, "Oh, want a TV and love a DVD player or something like that there in the room."
Oh God!
And I was like,
"Remember that DVD
I was like,
players?
Oh, PS2 has a DVD player in it as well. You should totally get one of those."
Yeah. There are PS2s out there that have literally just been used as DVD players.
Oh, completely. They were cheaper.
Yeah,
they were cheaper actually.
Yeah, they were cheaper.
So what we did was we jumped into the Mark IV Golf back in the day.
Oh lad.
Jumped in the Mark IV Golf, went to Macro.
Oh, is it like Dunmurray?
Yeah.
Wow.
Went to Macro.
There's a 3B.
Because we used to go there always like for big shops and that. So went into Macro, got a TV, 21 or 22 inch.
Probably thought at that stage you were balling like.
It was the biggest TV in the house.
Yeah, it was a
if I can mind right, I think it was a Panasonic.
Was it flat screen?
No.
Probably not even.
No, it was like silvery.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we had the PS2. Fat PS2 was got, and I can mind at the time for whatever reason. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts was the game I'd love him to get because I'd seen ads on the TV about it.
Yeah.
But he ended up getting Driver.
I played Driver on the PS1. Actually, I never played it in the PS2.
No, sorry, no, it wasn't the Driver. It was the Getaway.
I have played it.
No,
yeah.
I was a wee toad at the time, so I didn't know exactly what sort of game I had to play, and I was like, I was like, oh, you're such a dick. You didn't get that game or whatever. But he was buying it.
Yeah.
So, but and later on, he's like, I got that because your shell as well. But it was actually a sister's friend at the time years ago. She was big into cars back in the day, and I'm near sure she had said, "Oh, would you want to lend this game because you can do stuff to cars and all on it?" I think that's how I get into Underground. So she brought it down anyway for she had a PS2 at the time, and put it on. I was like, "This is fucking class." Yes.
Yeah.
So
unbelievable.
I mean, I got
the car used to come driving down.
Yes, and then
world's longest parking lot.
To be honest, still to this day,
that was unreal.
They are actually the best looking wide body kits, I think, in the Need for Speed series. But also, fun fact: if you Need for Speed 1, Need for Speed 2 obviously came out.
You know about the Undergrounds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Underground 1 and Underground 2. Underground 2, you could put all big gay wings on the Golfs and that, but you couldn't put a normal spoiler on them.
Yeah.
Underground 1, it was all normal type spoilers.
Yeah.
And I think the
just
the last
lips and stuff.
Yes. But anyway, yes. So played it. I think I got from Santa Claus anyway, or from Santa at Christmas time, and then played it. Could never get by because it progressively got harder. It was a fucking hard game to beat for me back in the day. One,
yeah.
And it's like anything. I got a cheat code once and bought pile of body kits and stuff, and then had a standard car against Eddie in his race with R34.
Yes.
East Coast Riders.
The only race I can remember now is Samantha.
Oh, and the
Because
350.
it's like a Civic.
Oh,
She's like, I brought you up here, now you want to take me on, or something like that there.
Yes.
Like, and it's just like, oh.
No, Samantha was the one with the 350. She was, like Vicky or something like that.
Right, okay.
Can't mind the actual proper name, but anyway. And then it was Need for Speed Underground 2. The ad started coming out for it, and I could not fucking wait.
I couldn't wait.
I rented it the night it came out from Extravision.
Right.
For 2 days.
Seriously? No, I waited to Christmas.
So literally the night it came out, rented it for 2 days, played the life out of it. I was basically borderline addicted to it. And then I combined one other evening, again, same friend was coming, like sister were having a bit of crack.
Yeah.
And they were going to Extravision. Oh, do you want it? And I was like, I'm going to be a wee smart cunt here. Sorry. I'm going to be a wee smart idiot here.
You can say cunt.
Alright, okay, whatever. I got them to bring it back.
Yes.
A rented version. And I was not allowed it.
Why not?
Because you should. It was close to this time of the year.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, they didn't know any better, but they brought back the Xbox version. I was raging, so I had to go back to Marfelt. So they offered to go back to Marfelt, got the proper version. I played it again all that weekend. And then, like Christmas Day came, and I played the life out of it.
Yeah, Need for Speed Underground 2 was something else, but even another game that came out, and I think it came out in 2004, and I can remember I was in Smith's, and I remember seeing it, and like the graphics with this game on the PS2 was just another level. Gran Turismo 4.
I hated Gran Turismo games.
Gran Turismo was, to this day, Gran Turismo 4 I think was one of the most revolutionary games in existence. Gran Turismo, to be honest, is quite boring.
That's why I don't like it.
I will admit that. But like in terms of what it was, the real driving simulator, I remember there was like a Grand Canyon rally track, and like spectators used to literally, like, you'd be driving along and spectators would literally like just jump out of the way in front of you. Like on a PS2, when you think back about it,
that's
like,
hard going. Like.
That was unbelievable. Following up with that was Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Yes.
So they brought cops back.
Again, I never completed that game.
I did.
It was very hard by the time you got the Blacklist 4.
Yeah, I could probably still rhyme you the entire Blacklist off.
So number 15 is
Sonny,
14,
Taz,
13,
Vic,
12,
Izzy,
11,
Barn,
10.
Oh, the guy with the Eclipse. No, Barn was 10. The guy with the Eclipse was number 11. Fuck. Keep going. 10 was Barn, I think. 9. Earl.
8.
Jewel.
7.
Kazi.
6.
Ming.
5.
Webster.
4.
JV.
3.
Ronnie.
2.
Bull.
1.
Razor.
Do you know a fun thing about Ronnie's car?
It was Aston Martin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever see what it said in the back?
No.
Of the car?
No.
No, you never seen that?
No.
It said "Kiss My Ass, I'm Irish" in the back of it.
Oh, I do remember that actually. Yeah.
It was green and yellow, and it said "Kiss My Ass, I'm Irish."
That's right.
And I was like, lad.
That's right.
Fun fact, no, I actually never completed the game, but fun fact, I went.
That's 2 fun facts.
Yes.
Right.
Anthony McCann, a good friend I had in primary school.
Yes.
He completed the game, and I just copied a save file across to my memory card.
I know I completed it. It's the only time you ever get to heat level 6.
Yes, where it's just send everything.
Yeah, it literally was. It was all black Corvette C6s coming after you, and Cross comes after you himself.
Fun rumour.
Yes.
Supposedly all rumours are leading to that the next Need for Speed to be out will be a full remaster, remake of Most Wanted.
But
the original one.
Something about it.
Like all the original actors and all coming back for it.
There's something about it, but where it shows your man standing looking at his car in an impound lot. Is that a trailer, or do you think that was a fan-based trailer?
That's all fan-based. No, supposedly there's... I don't know, like, the rumours are all heavily pointing to that's, like, because all them actors are being hired again to do it,
right,
if you get me. Could be a load of shite. But then, anyway, sorry, Most Wanted, and then we had Carbon.
Carbon didn't hit the spot the same way that the previous three did. Carbon, I felt, was trying to get on the hype of Tokyo Drift because it had the canyon runs.
Yes, and you could do canyon drifts.
And I think that was very much trying to get on the hype of Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. But I will say that Carbon was the first game that actually let you adjust your own ride height. Like, so it let you put your car lower. So obviously every car I got was decked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carbon, I would agree there. Right, so Underground 2 was a mad leap from Underground 1.
Underground 2 was also revolutionary. Like the free roaming.
I can mind the free roam started. I was like, what is the crack here?
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah, this was something else at the time. Like, was that maybe one of the first to have free roaming?
It was, yes. They took it off, was it GTA and Vice City had free roam?
Yeah.
So they took that idea off them.
Like, that was revolutionary at the time, and going to fine tuning shops and all that there.
I could never find the body shop to begin with, and I was absolutely raging.
There was a couple of shops, and it took me a long time to find them, and you were literally spending hours driving around.
Because you couldn't do any, like...
One of the ones was Jackson Heights, and they'd only had two shops. One was a body shop, and the other was a vinyl shop.
Yes.
And I found the body shop.
Couldn't find the vinyl shop.
Turns out the vinyl shop was like literally the other side of the parking lot. So I was driving around Jackson Heights for hours looking for the shop, only to realise that when I drove into the body shop again, I was like, fucking hell, there's a red light here. Like, why did I...
why did you not catch on?
Raging.
The other thing about... So, Underground 2, no police in it.
Yeah, but that was the whole idea, was you racing the underground so you're not near the police.
It turns out that... I think the reason they didn't have police in Underground 2 was because it was so rushed. You wouldn't think it, but they rushed that game out like no tomorrow. So Most Wanted, they wanted to have police in Underground 2, but because Underground did so well, they had to get Underground 2 out at with a time frame and that.
Well, I like the fact they said, look, we do it in the underground because there's no cops.
Plus, did anybody else have two cars in Underground? The car you put every bit of shit onto to get style points, to get up to the levels so you get magazine features, and end up getting the Cole Harbour West or something to unlock the final
area. Cole
area.
Harbour West, I think, was the final area, yeah.
And then you had your car that you liked, that you put all up with.
I mean, I done both. But, like, I had a Hyundai Coupe. Was the car I completed the game with. Well, the car that got me up through the ranks. But I remember, I think I've spoke about this in a previous podcast, an Underground 2, you could do an outrun challenge. And I remember, like, pit manoeuvring again, an outrun challenge, and like I evaded him in like 13 seconds, and he was like, that's the fastest outrun I've ever seen. Come to like this special shop, and like you could choose like one part free of charge, and I put like a set of wheels, and they didn't even look that nice, but like they literally put my rating up like a full star, so which was like 10 points or 100 points or something like that there.
Yeah.
So it was like, for me, like, it literally got me like 3 levels up just by doing that, and it wasn't until I was way through the game I could finally change to a set of wheels I actually liked. But
Most Wanted, I think it was the first game that actually came out for the Xbox 360, which was the next generation, but I never had that.
I never had a 360. You 360? I
had a 360, but it was probably half roads in. Not far off half roads into the cycle of the Xbox 360, but you had Carbon, and then after Carbon it was very controversial because they went to Pro Street.
I actually quite enjoyed Pro Street only because the modification was so good, and it had an Escort Cosworth.
It was them trying to do simulator, I think. No, sorry, Shift was
them trying to do simulator. Pro Street was kind of like but Pro Street actually had a lot of gems that we didn't realise back in the day. Like Pro Street had Ibisu.
Did it?
Yeah. Had Ibisu, like, and we didn't even know that was a thing at the time.
I never knew that.
That's how I know what it is. It's from Need for Speed Pro Street.
Seriously?
Yeah. Honestly, but the customization you could do to the cars in that game was unbelievable.
True.
I spent a lot of time doing drifting.
Like, I had it and I played it a bit, but I never played it anywhere near as much as what I played Carbon, Most Wanted, and Underground 2.
I said I didn't spend that much time in Carbon.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually did complete Carbon.
I completed Carbon as well, but I just didn't. I just thought Most Wanted was far better. I felt like the problem with Carbon was the police then just become a nuisance, whereas Most Wanted,
they were an integral part of it.
Yeah, they needed to be a part of it. Like, that's what I think. wind forward a few years, that's what I think. Like, for instance, like Need for Speed have tried to do a couple of games, and like Heat's one of them that I thought had a lot of potential. The problem is when you're with the cops, like you can only take a certain amount of damage and then your car blows up.
It's not even that. I personally think that Heat gets a lot of things right. The handling of the game, since you're used to other better games, is absolute dog shit.
Oh, it's shocking.
It is terrible.
So bad.
But what it does get right, obviously customization, cars and all that, but you have to understand the heat level. So the way whenever you're in Most Wanted, like you had a crappy car, you were always level heat 1, and as you progressed, it literally goes from 1, 2, 3, 4 and straight up, and you have no chance of getting away from it.
Like I had a S13, and it was like,
ironically, we ended up online once, and we had the same body kit and everything on it.
Yours was red, I think mine's was white.
Literally.
Yeah.
That was the only difference.
Yeah. Wind it back then to the PS3. I'm trying to remember. I had the PS3 for a long time, but the PS3, like probably the most influential game during my ownership of having a PS3 was probably GTA 5. And I'm not really going to touch on GTA too much because, it's not really just all of those Grand Theft Auto. It's not really a racing or driving game fully.
There's just a lot of unlicensed cars in it.
Yes, but I'll tell you what actually happened during that time between the PS3 and the PS4 is the laptop that I had for uni was actually very, very good. At the time, 8 gigabyte of RAM. Fella who actually started working on our farm like years ago, he always says like he attributes my dad for being the one that gave him an education. It was basically Dad second. He didn't want to study, and basically Dad seconded him a work here, and he was like, right, fuck it, I'm way back to tech because it has to be easier than this. And he turns out he was really good with computers, so he has his own business. So he got me a really good laptop at like really reasonable money, so fair play to him. And I decided I would go out and buy Farming Simulator 2013, and that's where that sort of side of things started.
I can mind, never knew anything that even existed, but I can mind seeing videos and being like, oh my god, like, no, this is me in my early 20s.
Yeah.
Seeing it and being like, they're actually doing fucking silage on it. Why is this not out for the PlayStation or anything like that? Well, now, we will get to that later on.
We'll get to that in a bit.
But, I was like, they're drawing in silage. Now, it's totally not that deadly graphically, but they're drawing in silage.
I mean, the graphics on the... Like, I was playing a low quality level. Like, graphics were like of early PS2 game level.
Yeah.
But, at this stage there was a lot of mods.
Yes.
So, like, and they had the thing, which you don't get on PlayStation, but you can get on the laptop, called Follow Me. So basically what you did is if you were driving the Harvester, you could, like, basically get the trailer driver to, like, follow you, and then you could offset them. So you could get them to, like, negative follow. So the tractor was slightly in front. But whenever you moved, they moved. So if you turned, they turned. And basically, they were able to sit by your side the whole way around the field.
Deadly.
It was unreal. Like, that was really, really good. Stuff like that was absolutely class.
See, just an honorary mention. I said it before in a previous podcast. Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Alright. So, an honorary mention that I have said before in a previous podcast. So I had the 2 games just for the PS2.
Yeah.
It was like Need for Speed Underground 2, but you only could do races.
Yeah.
Their take was you could have crew members and you could get them to do races for you and bet and things like that.
Yeah, it was very like
it was all
race wars.
Yes, it was all licensed parts as well, and introduced from like, your Golfs to your R34s to your supercars and that. I told you all the cheat I can't mind what episode it was, but essentially if you're very smart with your betting, you can make millions.
Yeah.
And then you can buy anything you want.
Yeah.
So I did that. Then just 2 hot import nights. Can mind seeing that and being like, no, that would be... So that was literally at Tokyo Drift, and you're sure.
Yeah.
And they heavily went into the drifting.
Yeah.
So
hot import.
Like, you were in all these different cities and your different locations, and
that's right.
You were fit to then obviously max out your cars to a certain class and that. I still to this day, I'm near sure, have a twin cam that's fully maxed out, done Jap style. And like the drifting actually was really enjoyed. Like it was, by Car X and all standards, it wasn't that deadly, but it was at the time. Plus, it had all the cars like Mark 4 Golf, Mark 5 Golf, all that sort of stuff. So it was very good too. Then for me, I never, in regards to Xbox 360, to be honest, I had Need for Speed Undercover and I enjoyed it, but for some reason my game went corrupt. My game went corrupt, and then for some reason I lost all the crack, so just forgot about it.
I'm just actually thinking there was a gap because I got the PS2 and what so this must have been PS2 come along 2003, and then 2005 PSP come along.
Yes, did you have any Need for Speeds or any racing games for it?
I had a game called Midnight Club Double
Did
Edition.
you have Midnight Club Double Edition for the PS2?
No, only for the PSP.
Sorry, another honorary mention.
I had
You had
Club.
airbags, hydraulics, the whole work in that.
Yeah, and one of the first cars you could get was Jetta, but you could rename your car. So obviously it could rename Deborah.
Here's what a fun fact. I was like, what the fuck? That's a Bora.
Yeah,
that's not a Jetta.
I was like, why is that a Jetta? But then that was when the PSP came out. That was also when you could look up stuff online.
Wait, is it good in the PSP? Because guess what I've recently bought for the PSP as of this week?
Midnight Club Double Edition.
Midnight Club 3 Double Edition.
It was unbelievable. There's a lot of lowrider stuff on it, but the soundtrack was unbelievable.
Yes.
Like it was Rockstar. You know,
right
it
enough,
was Rockstar.
Yes.
You know, so it was like, it was really, really good. To be honest, like, what do you call the new Midnight Club? I had it. I think I couldn't mind it.
LA?
Yeah, it wasn't fantastic. I didn't particularly like it.
No, never played it.
Dub Edition was a whole new level.
It was
class.
It had bikes in it.
Yeah, and there was, because one of the bikes was a chopper called the Hot Match Scully, but it was spelled SKULLY. So obviously I went in and changed it to SCULLY. So it was the Scully. I had a GTR. I think my favourite car in that game was the Viper though.
Really?
Because you could do it up like a GTSR, yeah. So,
right.
And I had a charger and all that as well. I had some really good stuff. And I actually visit, so a random wee weird life goal, it's a bit niche, was in Midnight Club 3, one of the first places you go to is
it Detroit or something?
No, San Diego.
San Diego, yes.
San Diego. And at one point, like, you do a jump and you get on like the big warship. So I've been on that warship now as well. And I just remember being like that. Being like, last time I was on this thing, I was in a car. Literally jumped from over there.
It's like that time we drove into Mandela. We were like, oh my god, I always end up in the stones.
There's that gravel trap I always end up. Maybe I probably haven't done enough research. I probably should have looked through all my games, but I'm just trying to see if there's anything else really come out. I think Dirt. I had Dirt in the PS3, Colin McRae Dirt.
I had Dirt 3 because Jim Canna was big back then.
Yeah, that's right. I had a few rally games. I had all the World Rally Championships as well, but they just didn't do it for me the same way.
See, to be honest, the 360, I would have, like, I commend, like, CEX back in the day, Project Gotham Racer, bought it, played it for 2 minutes. Forza I never bothered with, because I thought it was just another Gran Turismo, and that didn't do it for me.
A lot of people would tell you that Forza is a completely different animal. I know nothing about Forza.
Well, I never actually bought it. I had Undercover.
Like, so Stevie and like John Murray and all them ones, like, literally live for Forza.
Yeah.
So like they're mad for it.
What other racing games? See, Xbox 360 was kind of, Call of Duty came into play, and my first Call of Duty was Modern Warfare 2, and I ploughed in summers, but we're not a shooting people podcast because that's just wrong. So we'll just reverse it back.
This is kind of off topic. Did you ever play MotorStorm?
Well, no, I don't even know.
MotorStorm was like a PlayStation only. So
well,
PS3.
Obviously I didn't play that.
Alright, fair enough. So because of the PS3, it was the first game I ever played that had the trigger, like R2 and L2, and I remember first playing this was like 2007.
Because X used to be go and square
X used to be
stop.
go, and now it's the triggers. But I remember getting that, and I could not get on the MotorStorm at all. But then after a while, it was class, and then there was MotorStorm Paradise or something like that there, and it was like in the tropicals, and it was unbelievable because it had 4-player split screen, and it was like one of the last true games I remember playing. Like you could play 4-player split screen. But anyway, I'm going to wind it back because I have to give an honorary mention to the first game that I ever learned how to play opposite lock. Crash Team Racing. That game taught me how to drift. Because I remember, like, when you were trying to drive and you were trying to do corners and you were skidding, you always kept spinning out. And then I realised that if you, like, opposite locked, that would hold your drift. And
So,
that got you your boost.
All them days in Eglinton, you can
I can
thank
put it, Crash Bandicoot.
how the Bandicoot can do wonderful things, I
telling you.
suppose.
So I actually forgot about that. I meant to bring that in at the very, very start. But better late than never. Background to PS3/Xbox 360.
I find after, so they did Need for Speed, this is not a Need for Speed podcast, but Need for Speed Pro Street, then they did Undercover, I think, and then they went to Shift and Shift 2. They were simulators.
They were
ones.
simulators, but I didn't particularly.
Never bought them, never played them, never even rented them.
I had Shift 1 and I didn't rate it at all.
I had Race Driver Grid,
That was
which I rented for like 2 days because,
That was a
again,
great
your
game.
cousin Anthony, I think,
yeah,
Shout
Anthony
out.
was really good at it. He was really good at it. Race
again-
Driver Grid was class.
again, never really bothered with it. And then sort of like, I'm trying to even think.
See, there was a period of time in our lives then where we didn't really play any video games. And that would have been around that tail end of that. Like,
Of-
sort of from 2012 onwards, that was when, you know, you're hitting 18 and suddenly...
You were like, well, I anyway was, that's a bottle of vodka. That makes me do silly things.
But that stage, but like but you'd moved on to that stage of your life.
Oh, why you
So if it wasn't that, you were sitting in Marfelt on a Friday night in a car park.
Yeah,
You know,
in my car.
yeah. So literally by that stage...
Contemplating life while you hadn't bought wheels
So
yet.
there is like there's like a 4 or 5 year gap from like 2012, like from basically from upper sixth through to like more or less starting work. So 5 years of my life, there was really nothing. I only used the PlayStation 3 for Netflix.
Just a couple of honorary mentions. So I had a PSP back in the day.
Quite a lot of honorary mentions, to be fair. But
There is.
anyway, they're all mentions.
So they are basically a port of a game I had anyway. So I had a go at Need for Speed The Rivals. That was Underground 2 on the PSP.
Right.
It was, well, I played it for like an hour because I hadn't a PSP at that stage.
Yeah.
Need for Speed Most Wanted 510 was really good for a PSP.
Right, okay.
Own the City, Need for Speed Carbon Own the City was grand. I have both of them, and then Pro Street was okay on it. And all are not there.
Did you ever play Test Drive?
I had it as a demo for the 360.
I had Test Drive Unlimited too.
It was just you just drove around an island.
Yeah, it was Hawaii, like, but you couldn't do up cars or not. I think it was
No.
literally you just bought cars. But it was all like supercars and stuff. Like, it was Lamborghinis and Porsches and all. I'm near sure, and it was like 1,000 kilometers of like open space.
Yes.
It was good, but again, like Gran Turismo and like a few of them other simulators, or like, you know, well, Test Drive wasn't simulator; it was very much arcade. But I don't know. Keeping a car stock just wouldn't be my thing.
No. So into like PS4 and that. Now, I didn't have PS4 obviously until a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I just was like, there's no point buying one. Not going to get the use out of it, and I don't really want to be that guy that's
Yeah.
you know big into like Call of Duty and that again. But 2015 saw Need for Speed bring out a revamp, and I can mind seeing the trailer for it, and it was an RWB Porsche,
Yes.
an S13 drifting around a roundabout, and me going,
And the GT86.
they are literally bringing out the game
Yeah.
we're all dying to play.
Yep.
I'm just too stingy to buy a PlayStation and or an Xbox at the time, for I would have been more for them.
See, I never bought it in the end because I
It
was
turned
told.
out to be an absolute shambles of a game.
Yeah.
Cool concept, shite otherwise.
I think like the only car you could really fully do up was a GT86, and everything else was just, yeah.
But then we'll go to a couple of years ago, and
So for me, I got the PS4 in 2017, late
Oh, right.
2017,
yeah,
and it come along with like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Oh.
And I was like, right, played like 30 seconds of it and went, okay, never playing this again. And I'm trying to remember, did I even buy any racing games for it? I might have bought F1, and then I kind of just sat. I ended up again using it just more or less for Netflix, and then Farming Simulator 19 came out.
Yes.
And this is where things all went down.
And that became the birthplace of KSMC contracts.
So I played it myself for a while, just the odd evening. Then I think Adam McCartney had it as well, and he became obsessed with it.
Aye, no offense to Adam. Adam's a lovely fella, but I can mind. He was big into GTA, if I can mind right at the time. And then he randomly out of nowhere, he's like, "Oh, I bought Farming Simulator 19, going to give it a go." And then like a week later, he was like, "I'm actually hooked."
He put hours.
No.
Sorry, he put days into that game. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I'm transporting bales." And I was like, "Have you used the auto-load trailer?" "No, I'm loading them one at a time." And I was like, "How?" Because I would just get bored. And he was
Yes.
like, "I like really repetitive stuff." And I was like, "Well, rather you than me, pal." And then I can remember this is like the start of lockdown, and Connor Kelly then wrote to me one night. He goes, "I heard you Farming Simulator. I have it too." Bearing in mind at this stage, me and Connor, like Connor's obviously one of my closest friends, but like there was a period of time where I don't know, didn't fall out or no.
He's my friend too at the
true. But like at this stage, like we were just hanging about with different people, so we kind of drifted apart.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I play it too, and I was like, all right, do you want to go online? And at this stage, I didn't even know you could plug like headphones into your controller.
Right.
So the first night we went on, we were WhatsApping each other, and I remember I WhatsApped and I goes, "I've got this field here." It was Shamrock Valley, the map, and I was like, "Let's go here." And I remember playing, and I was like opening up the field, and he was coming behind with like a set of like, you know, a front and rear mower or something, and like I just texted him going, "This is magical." And then the night after, I then put the headphones in, and then like literally that was just COVID. Like we just then convinced Adrian, then convinced Adam, and then finally convinced you all to join, and that just became the Farming Simulator trade.
So the reason I have actually got back into obviously bought a PS4 at the time was I seen you were in a group chat and went, right, why am I not in that? And then you were like, "Oh, this is, you know, playing PlayStation." And it was like, "Oh, KSMC, so Kelly, Sculla, and
McCartney, Mick, McCartney, McAllister."
Yes, and Connor was the last one, I take it, yeah.
But McGowan as well, so it worked. So
Yeah,
McAllister, McCartney, McGowan.
But yeah, no, then you convinced me to buy it, and I can mind, I drove to Belfast, got it about 9:30, got home about 10. By the time I had it set up and that, it was 11 nearly, and you were done the updates and all that. And then finally got it downloaded, and then it was downloading the mods, and that took a while.
Yeah.
That took a while.
Yeah.
But then once they were done, I was like, that Massey actually looks brave and real, and I'm actually mowing grass.
Yeah.
This is actually the best thing since sliced bread, and we're sitting here in the middle of March.
It was unreal. It was like because obviously body clock over COVID was a completely different thing. So like I used to go online with Connor, and we'd go online at like 11 o'clock at night, and he would just sit and like drink, and we'd play until 4 a.m. Then I would go to bed at like 4 a.m. and wake up at like 10:30, 11, get up, do whatever I was doing through the day until like 10 o'clock at night, because it was during the summer months, so it was just daylight till like 10 at night.
Yes.
So like my sleeping pattern was literally just advanced about 5 hours. I was living in like a US time zone nearly.
Yes. Do you shit yourself?
Not recently, but I have been dropping bombs all podcast.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, well, I got it, and it was like see to kill time, like 2 or 3 hours in the evening time. Yeah. No, it was brilliant. And it ended up that it was sort of a thing. So, Michael would have been maybe went and got like a sandwich or a tin of Coke or something like that there. Me and Connor would have maybe went and got a Blue WKD. or best of all, "Hey McGowan, have you went and got another packet of ham?"
You had some ham.
So yes, back in the day, which
Then-
isn't actually that long ago.
Then Connor had also then convinced me to buy Car X, and I didn't buy it for ages because it was like $18.99, and I was like, that game's really dear. And Connor was like, it's really good though, and I was like, there's no like actual cars. And he goes, yeah, but everything's basically like based off real cars. He's like I have an S13, and I was like, all right. And then like he showed me a picture, and I was like, that's actually kind of cool, but I'll not buy it yet. And then it come on like a deal, and I was like $8.99, so like a tenner off, and I was just like straight in, downloaded it, and then I was like loaded it up, and I was like, this is unreal. So like the first car you get is the Hachiroku, which
Yes.
is A86, no hatch, so the twin cam, and
I think we yes.
yeah, but some people might not, but like, you know, yeah. And I really struggled to get onto it that first night, and I was like, I am so shit at this. And Connor was like, oh, don't worry, in time you'll get on. And then I remember like going on like lobbies at the start, and boys were able to like sit and drift, and I was like barely able to like touch anybody and like get near anybody, and I was like, I'm so shit at this. And like Connor, he was away drifting with everybody else, and I was like, well, I'm shit at this. Couple that to like then there was a period of time where me and you were going on flat out, and me and you were able to go on to like East Hogue, and I was like literally at the stage where me and you could sit if we both S13s, and I was literally like, I would just sit and push you
How
around
long
the
did
track.
you have it? And how long did you have it before I got a PlayStation?
3 or 4 months maybe.
Really? Is that all the
Yeah.
length of time you had it?
Yeah.
Because again, it was, I got the PS4, bought the slim one. If I can mind right, I got Farming Sim at like a tenner. It was on a deal.
I had to pay $44.99 for it.
Car X was on a deal. It was $11.99. FIFA 21 was on again a deal for like $15.99. And what other game did I buy? It came with Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, not for this podcast, but what a game.
Oh yes.
What a game. Ratchet and Clank is phenomenal.
Mario can go and fuck.
Yeah, I think if, like for me, Ratchet and Clank kind of became the new Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot throughout the PS1 series was unreal. Crash Bandicoot definitely came
Ratchet and Clank actually was the new Spyro, because it was the same ones that make Spyro make
I thought it was
Ratchet
the
and
same
Clank.
ones that made. I thought it was the same ones that made Crash Bandicoot.
Insomnia Games when they made Spyro.
Yeah, Spyro was amazing too.
But anyway, again, we'll get back. So I went on to Car X, and I was worse than you. I was shockingly shit. But you know what? I stuck at it, and I practice, and it's got to the stage where if you were doing like a lead run, I was unreal at it.
Yeah, you're a very good lead, but you set your car up so differently than how I do. Because my car's set up for chase runs.
For I went on one night not to blow my own trumpet, and I got this friend request, because I was using the S15 I had at the time.
Yeah.
Got a friend request anyway, and it was like, oh, would you like to be in like our team or something? I was like, huh? You know, whatever.
I go on them too at one point, yeah.
And I like somebody like, oh, like you're half decent or whatever,
Yeah,
but
you
I
should
can't get close and chase, whereas you literally sit on my door as
Yeah.
if it's Connor and Jack Shanahan
Yep.
the whole way through it.
Yep. Except not as good.
Well, no. We're no Drift All-Stars here, like.
Aye, but I have my car set up. Like, you can get a really wide angle with your car, whereas I have my car set up that I can snap quite quickly in transitions. So I don't have the same big angle as you. Like, a lot of it's to do with your Ackerman angle, and mine's is quite low. And for that reason, like, from playing about, if your Ackerman angle's quite high, you can like send your car out really, really wide, do massive big wide skids, get massive angle, do 360 stuff like that. Most of my cars are set up that I can't 360 them, because they're set up like so I can't get wide. I can't. For me to do a run with big angle, it's quite slow because I'm on the handbrake a lot. But for chasing and getting close to people's doors, and that's just something I picked up from whenever I was looking up online. I was like, how do I set up my car better for chase runs? And I was like, lower your Ackerman angle. And I was like, right, so done that. And another thing then you could do was put your ADH on your grip. So basically you'd run like semi-slicks. But then I put mine up to 120 and I was like driving away from everybody, and I was like, this is no fun.
Nah, because I've always mine set at 100.
Mine is always set at 100 and sometimes set it for 90.
So the other thing about Farming Simulator 19 on the consoles, they definitely, I don't know if 17 had it, but they had, you know, the mod hub, so like people could put in.
17 a mod hub too.
And I didn't understand this, but lizard is a very important word in that game.
Yes.
Everyone's a lizard.
Everything's lizard. Yeah.
But
plus PC, there's
could,
no IP laws.
Yes.
With, like,
do you mind for like months we couldn't wait till the Red Lock trailer came out? So yes, if you think that sounds like a Red Rock, yes, it is.
Aye, and there's the Kane, which wasn't a Kane, it was a lizard.
It was a lizard.
It was a 12-ton Kane, and it was like unbelievable. So
eventually, whenever the Red Lock came out, we all obviously hopped on them. I couldn't wait till it came out because that was Sally's trailer I grew up with a contractor having, and then I know it was just fucking.
And then the Fieldmaster, I think, was on it too. The big Smith.
The Smith Supercube.
Supercube, that's what it was. The Supercube.
It's a big trailer.
It's a big trailer.
And the fact that in Farming Simulator 19, I can mow with triples with an 8340.
There was something
I can go harder with the 8340 than like a 939 Phantom.
There was something about the 40 series mods, because Adrian had a 7740, and I could pull this Supercube all day long up a hill, not even a bother to it. Meanwhile, me and I don't know, a 180/90 or a 200 Puma or something come up the hill, and Adrian would just be, and I was like, how?
That just doesn't make any sense.
The mod must have been set up to just be
unreal. Map to the washers.
I don't know what was done with them, like, but it was honestly, like, I remember, like, what else was there? Like, there was like all the deers and stuff like that. Me and Connor Kelly had a map where we just like played with like a 30 series and a 20 series deer.
You used to get and then it was like mapped or something.
Yeah,
it was
you used to get
the
the super chipped or chip tuning mod. It really was catered to the likes of us, and I can remember like when we first started, it was a case of like. But like definitely as time went on, they improved the physics and stuff, because the very start I was able to put like a front mower and a rear mower and a 110/90 and just auto swathe, and I done this and Connor followed me in like, I don't know, like probably a 6400 like Massey or 7740 I think it might have been actually, with like a baler on, like combi baler, and then as time went on, like the 110 would hardly no more in power front mower if you had the rear mower on, and the 7740 wouldn't even move. So they increased the physics and over time to make it more realistic. Why am I yawning? I'm trying to yawn while
you're making me trying to yawn. I'm trying not to yawn. Or like one of the best nights crack I've had in a long time, and just with the way things went. So there was the 5 of us were on.
Yes.
And we were all putting in silage. We shifted some acres that night.
There's been a few times that's happened, but
we filled the silo.
Oh yes.
Or going in and tandem tipping and that as well.
Yes.
Because I took a video and I was like, this is actually in a game.
Yeah.
Because who was it? So a relation, their husband was like, you bought a PlayStation, you mad? And I was like, you need to see this. And they were like, that's actually cool as fuck.
Do you know what used to annoy me about was people were like, you live in a farm, you Farming Simulator, like why just not go out and drive a tractor? I was like,
well, not going to cut silage in December.
I was like, you've a football. Why play FIFA? Oh, that's different. Explain to me how that's different. Oh, well, it's all these players. Yeah. Do you think I can afford to drive a fucking Fent? Like,
Well, here's the other thing. Massey brought out the 8S. I had never seen one in real life. I just downloaded the mod and walked around. I was like, oh, so that's what this is like, And then I was like, I want to, I'd love to see what one of these look like in a Red Lock trailer or a Smith Supercube. You just, sorry, that's the other thing.
The government subsidy mod.
So the best play on words and cheat in a game I've ever seen. So everybody knows that farmers get subsidised so they can create cheaper food. Some farmers are a bit notorious for buying stuff with it, but so we all get the single farm payment.
Yes, it's literally what
some
it is.
more than others.
You're expected to sell your stuff at wholesale, but yet buy it retail.
Yes,
that's literally why it was brought out.
Yes, but in Farming Simulator, they have
the government subsidy
sign. So you put this sign down and you automatically get 100 grand every year. And it's not as if we speed up time and then you have like 1 million overnight.
I have to say,
Whoever came up with that was actually a fucking genius.
I'm quite disappointed with my government subsidy saying in real life. My bank account's still sitting in the negative here. Like
I put one out the fucking side of the house, and everybody thinks there.
Someday, Connor. Someday
Someday I will do. I will do something like that.
I'll hold you.
And we'll wait till the following day to see if my bank account's got the cool cash call or anything in it. Probably won't have, but sure, you never know. Probably cost more to make the fucking sign than it would be that I'll get off it.
I'm starting to think really the whole idea of this podcast was simply just to talk about Farming Simulator. And you'd be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is the games that made us. It's not as if we're talking about Grand Theft Auto and you've killed God knows how many people.
Literally last night I downloaded Grand Theft Auto there recently for the PS4. Just I was on a deal. So I was like,
you never played it in the PS4?
No.
Oh, it's a different ball game compared to even the PS3.
I didn't think it was actually that much of a step up, but
did you try first person mode?
Yeah, okay, there's stuff like that. It's quite cool. Yeah, so like you just decide to like get in a car and I'm just like decided I was going to go driving up the street and it's just like right onto the footpath. and I'm just
and
like,
everybody was finna get out of the way.
Aye. And no cops were called and I didn't get shot and everything was fine.
Oh god.
Anyway, versus challenge.
Okay.
So the two games we've been playing a lot recently is obviously Farming Simulator and Car X.
Yes.
Would you rather have your ultimate tractor from Farming Simulator,
okay,
or your ultimate car from Car X?
Tractor.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you could sell it and buy the car and have money left over?
No, not even. That's a valid point though. Because my ultimate car is a Corvette C6, and would I fuck ever buy one of them? And because that's the car I would always go to. It's like 1300 brake and takes 6th gear anywhere. Yeah, it's the car I always go to. The grey one.
It is. You do like no, it's not called Voodoo. No,
I don't know what it's
can't
called.
remember what it's called. Yeah, do you always go for the C6 Corvette?
Versus that's like would you rather have a Corvette or an E340? And there's no comparison there.
I mean, I'd be inclined to agree with you, personally.
But
there will probably be people sitting going, the fuck did that man just say?
I'm me and I will do me.
No, I'd be inclined to agree. Plus, you could, but that being said, you could sell a C6 Corvette and probably buy a couple of 340s.
Or just put him into one, send it to Cyril Hanna, and he would leave it back like brand new.
And would probably cost the same amount as a Corvette to get that done, yeah. But it'd be better than new.
Yeah.
Cyril, I've been following Cyril Hanna for years, and some of the stuff that come like he done an MX 135, and it was unbelievable. But some of the stuff he does is absolutely out of this world, like.
True. Oh no, it is. Versus challenge for you. Here's an interesting one.
Right. So interesting you forgot.
No, I'm still trying to think of the vibe of it, if you know what I mean. And I'm also going to follow it up with something else.
Right, this
is it.
Okay.
So, would you rather, right, now you're pitching an idea to game developers. Right. So essentially, would you rather have a Need for Speed Underground 2 set in Macrofelt?
Right.
Start off in, I don't know,
BCP?
yes,
and a D-Turbo.
D-Turbo or something.
Right, okay.
Like free roam so you can diff in it and all that crack. You can go to Cookstown for Mackies.
Get strung with a Vosa in Cookstown, yep.
Yep, you can go to Ballymena if you want a KFC or something, go to the port.
Yeah.
Or would you rather have Farming Simulator based in good old here? Fuck, I've made you think again.
I genuinely think I would take probably the Need for Speed.
Really?
Yeah, I do. There was like a picture from years ago where someone had like made Need for Speed the Elk and like Photoshop, like there's a picture of the Elk and someone had Photoshop like a picture of a 306 and at the end and had like the speedo on all the side. I remember seeing that.
You could just call it Need for Speed Most Felt. Honestly. Yeah, you could literally have it where instead of obviously Underground 2, you had all the airport races. It could be the Elk. You could have, instead of doing your magazine features, you could be doing going down the prom with all the young boys photographing you. Yes.
Like you'd have a Fort car scene section.
And in regards to testing out your new car, because obviously you used to be able to go to the racetrack whenever you tuned your car.
Just do the Claddie Loop.
No, well, you could do the Claddie Loop that we've never tried.
No.
Or you could just have Mondello Park.
Oh no, bring back Eglinton.
Oh, Bishop's Court even.
Oh no, bring back Eglinton.
Right.
Or I do.
And
it's not far from here.
And then you could culminate of you could take Pro Street vibes with the kings of it, and then you could have King of the Cone.
I mean, I honestly do think that a Nordy spec Need for Speed would go down very, very well.
Like, could you imagine going through like a 306 and
what would be the theme music?
DJ Calmy or something? No.
Or some like Jimmy Buckley?
Paul Kelly. Willie the Dealer. Could you imagine, right? So
I was more thinking maybe Wagon Wheels, so whenever you open up the opening credits, just hear
or you could just have Mickey Joe and Willie the Dealer. They're gonna go to the town, they're gonna nail her.
So what would be like your, if you've got
no, right, so imagine you're in the main menu like Underground 2 was, and you could do up your cars. What you would
just
have
be
is
BCP and all the cars we parked like at a slant.
Well, you could do that too whenever you're betting against other people. You'd be like, oh lad, bet you a packet of fags and a tenner.
2 cans of Red Bull. That's all I can afford. I spent the rest in diesel.
Yes.
And tires.
So, like, the way you're tuning your exhaust, you could tune your upswept up to see how much rake would come out of it. But no, so if you're doing up your car, like you go to like front bumper, it'll literally be Laguna Splitter, phase 1, phase 2 or phase 3, for D turbos. If it was going for your Golf, you would have like Carketeer, 150 splitter, Ottinger, your different grills.
Zara, you'd have your West Coast.
Yes.
BMW, it would just probably be upgrade to M3 if it's an E36.
Or
a Musk
535D,
set parallels,
spiders.
Yeah,
spiders. What lip spoiler you'd want, and then literally probably most of them would be body kit, Maxton, or in some others it would be TRC. With Type R, the spoiler would just be Mugen, and how far do you want to tilt it?
Sierra kit, Cosworth.
Yes.
Wheels, Causey wheels.
Oh well, no, the back bumper would be 20 litre, 1 light.
No. 2 light.
No, that's what I mean. But you could either choose.
Stock would be single light, and then upgrade would be twin light.
Let me think. You could have air suspension or hydraulics.
Yeah,
you could. But imagine the game was like, so technically, imagine you went to like free roam, right? And you know,
can't get out of BCP because your car's too low.
Well, you could have that too. Like at the end of the day, your alloys would literally just be. They'd have to be. In regards to Volkswagens, you could have a Mark 6 on board sports. You could have Lions.
Oh, never done docking.
You could do Long Beaches, Femans.
So what, like somewhere like Auto Alloys or Top Gear Tire Centre would be like your tuning store or something?
Yes.
That's not a bad idea.
It isn't.
That's one of the better ideas.
You go back to retro and you could be like Power Style out of Tim.
Oh, or High Style in Marfelt.
I never actually got into Power Style before it closed down.
See, I never got into High Style before it closed either. I used to drive by it all the time and go, that's like the coolest shop in the world.
You could do tuning shop, Motorsports and Spares.
Yeah, Arties.
Or, yes.
For where do you go and get your tyres? Proline, Draperstown.
Where do you get your car mapped? Give me a laptop now.
Auto tune or something. over to Lloyd's or Bradley's.
Yes.
Yeah, there's plenty of.
And like your top tier car would be like Evo, Chaser.
S15, an RB swap or something like that there.
Yes.
You know, again, kind of like the Zara last week where I thought you were completely ripping the piss. You're actually quite good at coming up with ideas that I think would actually really work.
Well, the only thing is,
because when you said about the Zara last week, I was like, shut up, Connor. And then the more you talked about it, I was like, how long?
This is actually quite.
This is actually quite. I'm invested now.
To be honest, not gonna lie, and probably this will never obviously happen, but it would probably be cheaper to do something like that. It wouldn't actually, in all honesty, right, to make a drift car out of a Zara and put a PD 130 engine into it, you could get a PD 130 not well bad money.
Yeah.
Zara's that's mostly rotten. Like you know, you could just fucking weld the floor and you wouldn't really care.
Well, sure. After even that, you could literally just body swap, put a Zara body on something else, cut the entire floor pan out of a Zara and drop it onto something else.
Doing a 4Motion Passat.
4Motion Passat, you could do it in a 350Z.
And then just change the hubs or something to 4x108.
Probably the best thing to do is drop it in a Mark II Escort.
I know,
because it would be a small enough car, small wheels. We shouldn't be rehashing last week's podcast, but here we are.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were saying about before I interrupted you, a good idea. No.
Well, you've ruined my. I can't think of my good idea. Yeah. I always thought like that would be pretty darn cool. Like,
oh, that's the stuff. Like that's the type of thing you would hope. Like if someone ever did, like even GTA or something, or if you had a good enough laptop, someone would make.
Instead of takeovers, you just have, right, lads, we're going to Portnoe tonight. Lads, we're going to Macará tonight.
Lads, we're going to go to Kilrea tonight.
Oh, deadly high. Fair hell going to get hit flat, you know.
It's instead of like in the Need for Speed games and all, it used to be like you got a SMS from like T-Mobile or whatever.
Yes.
Now it's Snapchat.
Yes. Donald Holmes has sent you a snap.
Location X tonight, lad. That'd be class, actually. I kind of now wish that would happen.
We're going into Oma.
Into the bus station.
Yes.
We could just literally recite off all the places we've literally been in our lives, like.
Yes.
Probably should move on.
I know, we probably should move on.
Big old skids or one-wheel piles? Have you got money?
I have a one-wheel pile. On the way here, Michael.
On the way here? Okay.
I was going to buy SDC there.
Yes.
By goodness me. Now, I was doing about 60 to 65 mile an hour. And somebody drove out on me at the last minute to go up over that flyover.
Oh.
And they had the audacity to sit at 30 mile an hour.
Nothing worse, someone pulling out in front of you. I
was not raging in the car whatsoever. So I sat up their backside a wee minute.
You said nice things like good golly gosh.
Yes. Fucking cunt. Yeah, so then I got onto the straight bit of the road and the bastard had the audacity to keep the full beam on.
Oh.
I was like, no, lad.
Fuck, it wouldn't surprise me this time of year that person might not have been sober.
Well, I don't know.
That actually kind of brings me on to my first point.
What's your one-wheel
I don't know if it's a big old skid or a one-wheel pill.
You never do.
No. I suppose the way it was promoted, it's a big old skid. Like, I suppose car-related podcasts and all that there. One thing I'm not particularly cool with, drink driving.
No.
And I seen, it was a PSNI or one of the things put up this thing saying who's taking you home this Christmas, and I was there a taxi,
yes,
police car, an ambulance or a hearse, and I was like, that's a really, really good ad. Like, you know, despite the fact that neither an ambulance probably won't be taking you home and neither will a police car, but it's, you know,
something to add just to that, right? So I was once told by somebody years ago, being like, see, whenever you're in the road in the car, you don't think about it, but technically whenever you pass a car on a B road or a country road at any sort of speed at all, you're pure chance in death because they are not far away from you.
No,
so you wouldn't want to be doing anything that would make that a higher possibility.
Well, the realistic thing is every day we go on the road with the people who we've mutually agreed we're not going to play bumper cars with. You know, like,
and it's not as if there's a wall, there's a fucking white line.
Aye, there's an imaginary white line that stops someone going, oh, I choose death, and the next thing you're implanted in his front bumper. You know, that's the reality. So, you know,
you don't think about that, no, but that is really reality.
If you actually thought about that kind of stuff, you'd never get in the car.
No. And people are like, oh, I'm afraid to fly. You literally are beside death all the time.
Mm-hmm. All the time. This is a big old skid, although it probably should be a one-wheel pill. Did you see the Land Cruiser towing the recovery lorry with the lorry on the back of it? So it was stopped by the police in England, or VOSA stopped it. And turns out the Land Cruiser was like out of MOT for like 2 years as well.
Probably rotting in the back end of it.
There was rust in the arches and all that.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, I was towing the recovery lorry that had a lorry on it. You
can't beat a Toyota.
So, the Land Cruisers, can't kill them. Like, they're fucking class. Another big old skid. Andrew Muldoon was the first man to, well, that we know of, was the first man to diff whilst listening to us on the podcast.
Yes.
So what's he's a 335D now.
Yeah.
And he's decided that he sold up Sarah, decided he was going to buy a 335D Miss Diffin, welded the diff on it, and a 335D, fair play. And as long as you don't hit the limiter, she doesn't change gear, so she keeps herself in gear. And it's a 335D, so there's plenty of torque. So
they map really
well. Really well. So yeah, plenty of torque. I would say I think sketchy enough to drive a welded diff, but
he doesn't have a welded diff. He has a very tight LSD.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people talk about welded diffs, but realistically,
it's not actually welded. No. We just imagine it's welded.
Yes.
So fair play to that.
Fair play to that. Yes.
Did you see? This is definitely a big old skid. Did you see? Grassman shared it earlier. The Agri Gear, the 7810 that they made, like the custom, like wider rims for. So she's not solid. She's still like a standard rim, but they've obviously remade it so it's far wider. It looks absolutely class.
Yeah, show me a photo of that. No, I've never seen that one.
Unreal. And the final one-wheel peel is you, locking me in your car, you absolute fucking rod.
Right, can I just set the scene? So the scene of the story is, I was filling my car with diesel to go to Belfast.
Yes.
To enjoy myself.
Yes.
And between the time I got out of my car and filled with diesel, I forgot Michael was in the car.
So, like, literally, as I was about to get out of your car...
I locked the car.
You locked the car, and I was sitting there going...
Walked on into the shop. Even in the shop, for some reason, like, oh, would he want it? And probably not, no. So I'll just get my sales for it. And then I came out and you were like, what the fuck were you doing?
I was literally sitting there pressing, like, the unlock button, and I was like, why am I not getting... You know what? If you were like a serial killer or something, your car would be great because you're no hostages getting out of it. Like,
because the fucking button and the door doesn't work.
Yeah,
half the time.
I was sitting pressing it, going, "Why am I not able to get out of this?" And I was just like, thank God this man doesn't want to kill me. Like,
yeah. Well, there was a lot of steam. So there was a lot of, you were definitely letting steam out the ears.
Oh fuck!
Because you were banging at the windscreen. I was like, watch it doesn't break. And you're like, that is the least of my worries.
I was literally like, at least if you're going to lock me in the car, at least put the window down a little bit. Like,
so I have a big oil skid, and it's called Sticks and Stones. And it does a good steak. This is not for the vegan out there.
Not correlated either, but anyway, I do agree.
Well, it's definitely nice. Also, I have now found out whenever you go on the absolute tear on a Friday night,
yes,
milk can help your hangover after 3 hours sleep.
How?
Probably still drunk, to be honest with you.
So you weren't even hungover when you were doing it?
No. And then I went on the tear on the Saturday all day.
Yes.
And then the Sunday, I was bright as a daisy. Never.
But what were you like on the Monday? There we go.
Different story.
Different dynamic altogether.
No, I had the laugh. So, you had said, just whatever way it worked out, ended up that we had to share a room, and you were like, so I was told after this, whenever you'd left, Michael, I'll put it actually exactly the way it was. Giant McGarry said, Michael, the fucking twat, he came into the room and said, there's alarm going off, whose alarm is going off? And I was like, it's none of our fucking house, you twat. He was like, can you not turn it off? Alright, Michael, if you're that keen, you could go down, out through the front door, walk around the street, and go and ask them to turn it off.
To be fair, like, genuinely, I was lying there and I was like,
yes, but how...
My God, shut the fuck up. I am trying to sleep here. Why is this alarm constantly going off?
Right.
But I thought it was their house.
Right, I don't. I gathered that. They all gathered that. Then they also gathered it wasn't theirs after a while because they couldn't hear it. But the best of it was, I was like, fuck. I didn't know any of this.
Sure, at one point, like, because me and you were in the airbed, at one point, you, like, literally bulldozed me to the side, and, like, literally, you were completely in my space, and I lay there for a grand total of 2 minutes before going, hold on a second, fuck this, because obviously I didn't want to wake you up.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, no, I can't sleep. And I literally just went, boof, and just, like, pushed you over to the side. Didn't even take a flinch out of you. And I was like, that man literally sleeps like the dead.
Pretty much. Because you know what? I woke up in the same position I fell asleep.
My alarm went off at, what, like 8:30, because I had to get up and do that thing
That
for
didn't
work.
even wake me.
No. And then I had another alarm at 9:10.
Did it wake you?
My alarm at 8:30. Ish. I was like kind of sort of groggy before that. And then from like 8:30, like I just lay there. And then the next alarm went off at like 9:10. And I was like, right, time to get up. And you were literally, I was just like jealous.
No, I was out of
how
it.
to sleep like that, man. Like,
well, do you know the way like most smartphones or not smartphones, smartwatches and all that are like do your sleep, whatever,
Yeah.
right? The best I could ever tell is I was in a stag do in Liverpool last year, around last June time.
Right.
Last like St. Paddy's Day. Sorry, that weekend last year. But the first night, because whatever way it worked out, I went to sleep, and normally it would say you've been in bed 7 hours, you've slept like 6 or whatever, and you've had this much deep sleep and all that carry on, but you've always been awake at some point during the night.
Mhm.
I never had a solid block, but it was just literally,
flatlined.
I'm not joking. It literally said like 2 hours of deep sleep. I was completely out of it. Never have I went to bed and it, instead of being like a line and the wee dashes for when you woke up, it was just solid.
Just straight.
Never been the same. Never had it again. But I was just like,
I'm sure you're jealous of that sleep.
I was clearly tired. But then again, sure, as you once learned, the horn on the ship to wake you up doesn't wake me up.
Yeah, that's actually true. Ultimate Stance.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
yous were all
them
woke
shouting
up.
down the tannoy. Da-da.
And it was
We are now
beside me.
disembarking in Birkenhead. Could please, all passengers, please report back to their vehicle. Connor, would you... Oh,
No, even better. The speaker was beside me.
yeah. It's like, right, well, we're all up here and standing changed. And Connor's still asleep.
And then he's used the magazine, he'd hit me a tap in the head.
Yes.
And that definitely woke me up.
Yes.
And then I
Yes, we
slept the
chose-
whole way through the tunnel and all.
Yeah.
Adam was like, you're literally the worst passenger, you just fall asleep.
Yeah. I think I was in with Andrew that year in the S8, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great trip.
That was a very fast way home from Belfast to my house.
Oh, mind that.
Like we
Back
were
to car
not-
related stuff again.
We were not doing 155 in the
No, we
M2.
definitely hadn't hit the electronic limiter in that S8.
No,
We were going
and it
by
definitely didn't feel like you were doing any more than 65 mile an hour.
It's the most comfortable high speed run I've ever done in my entire life.
And-
High speed being 70 mile an hour, by the way.
Yes, exactly. And it's 71 at a push.
And the fact that, like, for whatever reason, even though we were going 70 the same speed as everybody else looked like they were stopped.
You didn't notice everybody at our plates on, you know.
Ah, that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that big.
At 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I remember that big Arctic lorry had a big R plate in the back of it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Yeah.
No, sorry, he had an L plate. He was
That's
just
what
learning.
it was. Yeah, he was learning.
Yeah, they only could do like 35 mile an hour.
That's what it was. Yeah. Have you anything else to add, or?
So, on that dramatic ending, when I have nothing else to add, if you wouldn't mind, it'd be well dead on is
We'll be pretty dead on, like.
yes, if you give the podcast pages on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook,
And YouTube.
all at Limited Slip Differences. If you all give them a follow or a like, it'd be much appreciated. And if you like Michael enough, you'll maybe go onto his Instagram and follow him at
Michael Scullin _ but I don't think you'll like me enough.
you never know.
And you can follow Connor at.
Connor.magoo and all things.
So, yeah.
But yeah, and on that note, I don't know how long we've been talking here.
I don't think it's been as long as usual. So this podcast, and well, there's a lot of outtakes with this one. But
This is actually not that well. It's just it's been an hour and 50 that we've been recording. So
probably an hour and a half, like.
yeah,
That's still not bad, like.
So,
It's less editing for me, so I'm happy.
guys, if you've enjoyed this wee jaunt through memory lane with consoles that you've never played, for the majority likely have just started playing PS4
Well,
and
if you follow us
PS5.
from TikTok, you're probably like 16 or 17, which means you definitely never had a PS1. In fact, you probably didn't even know PS3.
Probably not. But yeah, on that note, thanks very much for listening if you've got this far, and all the best.
See you there. Best luck.
Goodbye.